Now, how about them damn Celtics?
And we are back with another episode of How About Them Celtics. Sam and I are here recording on Thursday, March 6th, after the Celtics win over the Philadelphia 76ers, 123-105, the final score. Let me do the injury report. No Jaylen Brown, no Kristaps Porzingis, no Drew Holiday, no Sam Hauser, no Al Horford. No problem for the Celtics. Jayson Tatum, Derrick White got the start. Peyton Pritchard came off the bench but played starter minutes. Bunch of other fun stuff happened. I think this is one of the more entertaining games of the season purely because of the don't really know what was going to happen factor of, like when you see the same guys play over and over again, it gets predictable to a point. Like, how the Celtics are going to beat certain opponents. You saw Neemias and Cornette in the starting lineup from the jump tonight. You knew you're in for some ridiculous stuff. So, fun game. Celtics got the win. That's what matters. Philly is horrendous. I couldn't even tell you one thing that they did in this game. But, yeah, win for the Celtics.
So, the injury report and then no problem. Well, Philly's got nobody playing either. Paul George was announced out today. Maxey was out. Like, this did not feel at all like Celtics Sixers. Like, typically, I mean, just look at Christmas. Like, when these two teams play, usually, like, there's a good amount of buzz around it. Like, has a little bit of a big game feel. Nothing today. This felt like Celtics Sixers from, like, 2016 when the process was still going on. And the Celtics were a very good team. And there was no rivalry. There was no juice, nothing. It was like this game was drunk. Plain and simple. That's what I wrote about for Celtics blog. This game was hilarious. Like right from the beginning, Jack mentioned it. Joe starts Neemias and Luke together, which was a head scratcher at the time. Like, it's just not what I expected. It's not what you expected. We found out on the pregame together and was like, what is going on here? Then you come out and, like, Tatum has this incredible first quarter, by the way. He ends up with 18 points by the time the second starts. That's when the shenanigans start. Once the first quarter comes to an end, this game is no longer what you expected it to be. We get this scoring outburst from Baylor Scheierman, who looks the most comfortable he's ever looked in the NBA. He looked really good. Outburst meaning he ended up with 15 points today. He didn't have like a crazy game, but compared to expectations, like coming into this game, we didn't even know if Scheierman was going to play. It was like Jordan Walsh played pretty well yesterday in the minutes he got against the Trailblazers. Like it felt like the continuity would be there and he would play. Scheierman gets the call today. He came off the bench the same time as Pritchard that he was ready. And then we had Andre Drummond make a three in this game. Almost fell out of my chair on the ninth floor. Greatest rebounder of all time. We got to see him in the flesh. It was pretty sick. There was a play where Neemias got like all of the rebounds after missing all of the layups on Andre Drummond. So his title is up for grabs of greatest rebounder ever. That's a takeaway from this. And Derrick White lost his fake teeth, which he said he was supposed to get replaced weeks ago and then didn't go in and put it off. And he's going to go in tomorrow now that he got his shit rocked by Kelly Oubre and lost him and had to go get them put back in, glued back in. And then my other favorite thing from this game was the Jumbotron where Luke Cornette and Sam Hauser had to name cartoon villains. And Luke, it was like complete opposite ends of the spectrum. Luke like knew all of them. And Sam Hauser looked like he grew up without a TV in the house. This game, like, if you paid to come to this game thinking that you were going to see like Embiid, Tatum, Brown, Maxey, like barn burner, what TNT thought that they were going to get when they got the rights to it, you still got your money's worth because it was so ridiculous.
Excuse me. Yeah. It feels weird not to, one sec, excuse me, not to start with the guy who scored 35-7 rebounds and 2 assists and 3 steals. This game wasn't really about him. Weirdly enough, he did his job. He played great, but it didn't matter because shit, man. Baylor Scheierman was the star of the show. Dude played 29-47, which was 4th on the team behind the 3 guys you'd expect to play the most minutes. Tatum, Pritchard, Derrick White, or excuse me, sorry, Cornette played 33. Actually, I thought it was Derrick White. So I guess Cornette playing that much was a surprise. But when you don't have any other big, it makes sense. Baylor Scheierman, career high in minutes, almost 30 minutes, 15 points, 3 rebounds, 3 assists, a steal, a nice steal in transition, 5 of 10 from the field, 3 of 7 from 3. Drew 2 charges, one of which was in transition against Yabusele. Not a small man. That had to hurt like a motherfucker. Like, that is not a small guy. He looks good, man. He looks really good. And it makes sense. He played a lot in college, played 5 years of college basketball. Like, you're bound to be a little bit ready. Baylor shot. I picked the right fucking guy to move my stock to, even though X. Don't worry about it. 5 points tonight, 50% from 3. No, but seriously, Scheierman, man, he looks really, really fucking good. And I said this. I said this earlier in the season too when I went up to Maine to watch him. He looked great there. Said it on Celtics Lab a few weeks ago. Like, I'm buying all the Baylor Scheierman stock. Like, give me all of it. This is why, man. He just knows how to play. He knows how to be in the right spots. There are a few players I watch play basketball that hustle more for every single ball than Baylor Scheierman. Like, that ball leaves the shooter's hands. Motherfucker is like a fucking honing missile. He is, wherever the ball goes, he is trying to get it. And he had the play to stop a transition fast break where he did a fucking baseball slide out of bounds. I'm swearing too much because I'm fired up, but he like this is why games like this are exciting.
Fired up
You know what I'm
about
saying?
this game.
This is why games like this are exciting though, because you get stuff like this from guys like this. So good for Baylor, man. I'm pumped.
Yeah, I previewed this road trip homestand for Celtics blog, and like basically set it up as if this was a final exam, and like these were meant to be the multiple choice questions of games, Portland and Philly. And so far, like, I mean, don't get me wrong, Cleveland and Denver were fun games too, but these have been the ones where you kind of walk away and you're like, holy shit, like this is why we play. This is why we show up. This is why they play all 82. This is where amazing happens. How often do you really just, I mean, we showed up to this game today and we were just like, what is going on here? The injury report has 11 guys on it. Like, this game is not going to be any fun. The result went the way I think everybody thought it was going to go, but how they got there was not how it happened in everyone's minds before the game. The Scheierman piece of this is great. It's the first time we've seen him look like he's ready to eat these minutes if needed. Any other time he's been in, he's just kind of like been kind of tense, like as you would expect somebody to be when they're not really comfortable in this league yet. He did a great job today of adjusting to it. He made his presence known. Another guy that was like really good today was Torrey Craig. Torrey Craig had a nice 4 of 5 for 12 points game, 2 of 2 from 3. He was hitting the glass hard. You asked Joe Mazzulla about the corner crashes, and I'll tell you what, is Torrey Craig made his presence known on the corner crashes. I like this from him. Could we be any louder with the fucking, can you hear that? Torrey Craig makes his presence known, plays hard, plays physical. It's evident why they signed him. The problem is it's not there every single night. The shot isn't there every single night. He hasn't really made a lot of threes since his debut game. But tonight, he had it. Needed him to have it. A lot of minutes for him to play. He ate him well, played good defense. Liked what I saw from him.
Torrey Craig was great. Before I talk about how great he was, not only has he not made a lot of threes, he had the worst pump fake I've ever seen in my life in this game.
That I don't remember. No.
I need to find it. I don't even know how I'd find it. Torrey Craig
I need to
got
find
the
it
ball.
for an impossible thing. It's
Ready?
never good to hear from you.
All right, ready? He did one of these. He did one of these. And then he had to pass it again. Like he if you're watching on YouTube, you'll understand what I just did. But he like pump faked himself, had to like take a step because he didn't shoot the ball. Shit, man. I don't know when it was. I would literally have to watch all the possessions.
Oh, you know what? I do remember that. And I was like,
Yes.
damn, like I thought he was gonna shoot that one. We also got a Luke Cornett like kind of pump fake from 3 in this game. It reminded me of when Brad Stevens caught the ball in Sacramento and pump faked at 3 and everybody was hyped. Like that was about the same chance of that ball going up. Yeah, it's the same deal.
Exactly. Tatum was hype at the Luke thing. He got up on his feet. And he was like, "Oh, we're gonna see it." But no, back to Torrey Craig. I asked about the corner crashing. I've actually been interested in this in a while. One sec, I have to cough again. I don't want to cough into the mic, but
honorable move.
With how many threes teams are taking in the NBA nowadays, especially the Celtics, offensive rebounding is going to be more difficult than ever. Or rebounding in general is going to be more difficult than ever, right? Because the momentum with which the ball hits the basket makes the ball go everywhere. Like when the rebound comes off, it doesn't just like a layup miss is going to go right to the big man. It's not the case with a 3. And the Celtics take more above the break threes than any other team in the league by 6. They take about 38. The next team takes about 32, right? And so when you think about it that way, like how many possessions where they take threes are guys just standing in the corner, dilly-dallying, doing nothing. Well, they convert those into I'm going to sprint the paint and create extra possessions, because not only does it get the Celtics extra possessions like Torrey Craig did a phenomenal job of doing tonight, but even if they don't get the ball, they cause a mess enough to where the team can't run in transition because they have to match the number of bodies the Celtics are sending. And if they get a hand on the ball, then they're not going to be able to, like, it does a lot for the Celtics 3-point variance when they can create messes off their own misses that way. And Torrey Craig did a great job at tonight. Baylor Scheierman only had one offensive rebound, I think, in this game, but he was sprinting in there to try to make an impact too. Peyton Pritchard obviously is a huge example of this. Dude is always in the paint trying to wreak havoc on the offensive glass. Like, Hauser's phenomenal at it. They have lines on the practice court at the Auerbach Center, like, showing the angle they want them to go at for corner crashes. Like, this is a big part of what they do. And it makes a lot of sense when you think about it, because if you're going to take up this many threes, like, you need to fight that variant somehow, because sometimes you're just not going to have it. And so by getting these extra possessions or stopping the transition that can come off those misses, because Joe talks about all the time of, miss layup is worse because it's easier to run in transition. It's similar with threes. Like, you miss a shot, it's easy to run in transition. So having these corner crashes is important. And I mean, Rui called it on Twitter. He goes, "Is a video incoming?" And I just said, "What the emoji?" Because probably it's probably going to be a video.
Yeah, you make a good point about, like, especially like on these long rebounds, if you don't get those can turn into really, really easy buckets for the opposition if they want to get out and run on you because they already have a head start. I liked the hustle that we saw from the Celtics today, and this was just a really good game when you take into account the next couple, let's say like next 6 weeks of this season, where Saturday and Wednesday are like their last 2 real games of the year. Like, the rest of their schedule is pretty much mush. You're going to see a lot of rest, at least from like Kristaps, Drew, Al. Like, those guys will probably sit out, probably get Jalen out a couple games. If Tatum wants to sit, he'll sit. So these guys are going to need to be ready to play if the Celtics are going to keep up the pace that they're on. Not that that necessarily like makes or breaks the playoffs, but it would be nice to keep the 2 seed. Gives you an easier first round matchup for sure. Like, those teams in the play-in aren't very good. So if you're able to get Baylor Scheierman feeling confident about himself, even this spans past the stay ready group, like Derrick White clearly was confident in this game before he had his teeth knocked out. Came out and made 2 threes back to back in the first quarter after having that 41-point game against Portland. Peyton Pritchard looked tired. He was short on his threes. The confidence didn't waver. He was still taking them. He had one where he hit the front rim and it came right back to him and he fired it back up and made it. Like, that is a confident play. If you've never played basketball, if you get your own rebound in that situation, I can tell you, like, like, your first instinct is not like, let me try again. Usually it's like, all right, like, I missed my shot. Who's open? My bad. No, I mean, maybe not if you're in the NBA. The NBA guys have confidence, but the average Joe like myself would be like, absolutely not. But nonetheless, that guy's confidence never wavers. Unlock this new level to him this year where you can trust him. Like, you can trust him in big moments. He carried the team yesterday. Him and Derrick carried the team. Tatum out. It wasn't Jalen, who didn't play terribly outside of scoring, but he couldn't score yesterday. He was clearly dealing with something. And Peyton Pritchard and Derrick White carried the load. That's fine. They can do that. That's going to be huge for the team going forward, especially if you're going to be able to get anywhere from like 10 to 15 points from 2 other bench guys. Take your pick of who it's going to be. But today was a great step in the right direction for that.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, those guys look good, as they always do. Tatum was obviously incredible too. We didn't mention him quite as much, but he was
awesome.
awesome.
Shout out to Corrales, by the way, who asked Joe Mazzulla about that at the end of the press conference. Like, literally the last question of Joe's availability is like, what'd you think of Tatum, who had 35 points? And Joe like laughed. He was like, yeah, isn't that funny? Like, nobody's talking about it because it's just what we come to expect from him.
Yeah, 100%. He was incredible. It's just a game like this where you get so many different faces playing. It's a little bit of a different story when you talk about it. Luke Cornett is fucking awesome, dude. He is so unbelievable. He's a team high plus 26, but he had 9 points. He grabbed how many rebounds? 7 rebounds, 3 on the offensive end, 4 assists, 4 blocks, 1 turnover, but that's fine. 4 from the field. Just he never wastes motion. Like, he is constantly moving off the ball to be in the right position. It's very fun to watch. Neemias Queta played as well, double bigs. I thought his passing was really good in this game. He had 4 assists. I thought some of the passes he was making, like you can see the progression of how he is improving as a passer. I wish I had the confidence to put back in my life that Neemias Queta does, that he's going to make a shot off an offensive rebound. No matter how many times he fails to make it, no matter how many times it is painfully clear he should just pass out and reset the possession, he is always confident that he's going to hit that shot, even when he never does. Right? Neemias Queta wasn't awful in this game, right? He played solid defense. The passing, like I said, was awesome. My God, brother, like, please, man, please just pass out.
So one thing that made me laugh so hard is there's a play where Nemi finds Baylor Scheierman wide open in the corner off. I think it was an offensive rebound, or at least it was a paint touch. Like Nemi has the ball in the restricted area. 2 76ers players are right by him, and he pivots like 3 times. He's like, all right, let me see if I can shoot it. Let me see if I can shoot it. Let me see if I can shoot it. Fuck, fine. I'll just fucking pass it. Fine. He's open. And Scheierman sinks the shot. But it was like, it felt like he just wanted to do everything possible to get that shot up before he's like, all right, fine. Like, yeah, I'll pass. And that's exactly what you're talking about. He had that possession in the first half where he got all the rebounds but missed like 5 straight shots at the rim. He was 1 of 6 from the field. I'm not convinced you should ever be 1 of 6 if the only shots you take are layups and dunks.
It was rough. And you mentioned he finally got it to Baylor in one. He missed him on another. He missed him on another in the first half, I think it was. But no, he's fine. Luke was great too. Shout out to Luke. Drew Peterson got the start. Didn't really do much. Wasn't really involved. It almost feels like when you're one of those guys like Baylor, Jordan, Drew, you have to make an effort to get yourself involved, because like they almost don't even look for him. Like when Tatum and Derrick White have the ball, they don't even look for those guys usually. So you have to make an effort to like move off the ball, get a rebound, or do something to almost announce your presence in the game. So like, oh yeah, that guy's on the court. And that's, I think, how Baylor like spearheaded his activity, etc. But regardless, Drew Peterson was fine. What else we got? Xavier Tillman made a 3.
About your point though, before
Sorry,
we move
go
next. Sorry, yeah. Like Tatum was asked about like just kind of like the performances we've seen from the Celtics in the last 2 games, where it's been Pritchard or White or Baylor Scheierman plays well, Torrey Craig, you name it. And he was just like, yeah, like I tell these guys when they come in the game, like, you're a basketball player, be a basketball player. Like, don't be afraid. Do what you did that got you to the league. And I think Scheierman really took that and ran with it today. You know, I was bummed to see Peterson not really thrive in the extra opportunity today, because I think he's a fun player. And there are things I like about Drew Peterson. And, you know, seeing him just kind of be there was tough. But I am glad that somebody took advantage of it, which is good. I mean, I'm glad Scheierman's playing well. They have obviously him under contract for a while. His development in the grand scheme of things is going to be important to this team, because they can't pay everyone forever. They're going to need somebody to be playing well on a cheap contract, and he's a prime candidate for that. But yeah, Tillman back.
Tillman. Scheierman, the first round pick, by the way, for Brad. Tillman, man, made a 3. Made his move off the drive, off of passing up a 3. I think I have a higher vertical than Xavier Tillman right now, currently. But outside of that, he was fun, man. I was pumped up that he got to play. But also Jordan Walsh played okay in this game. Wasn't quite as emphatic as his game the other night against the Blazers. He was 2 of 3, 1 of 2 from 3, 4 rebounds, 4 rebounds, 3 assists though, and a steal. He was solid. And Miles Norris got his first minutes as a member of the Celtics. J.D. Davison played 2, hit a 3, but I don't know how much else there is. I think we covered it all. Is that about it?
Big game Saturday. Unless you ask the team,
game,
then they don't give a fuck. But big game for me.
Big game. Fun game. I'm excited, man. I mean, for as much as you can hate LeBron, like getting to see somebody as like famous as he is play back, like just getting, like, you only get so many more chances to watch LeBron play basketball in person is what I'm saying. Like,
I've never seen the Lakers in person before, so I'm very excited. Never been to
Exactly.
Celtics Lakers.
Exactly. So it'll be fun. But Anyways, appreciate y'all for tuning in. Make sure to leave a like, subscribe, and I'll let Sam take it out.
Yeah, thank you very much for listening and watching. Make sure you leave a like, comment, tell us what you thought. Celtics Sixers. You can also subscribe and hit the bell. We'd appreciate that very, very much because we're putting out new content every single day. Full pods drop Tuesday, Thursday, Sunday. Game recaps like this one are up the morning after each game, and other videos are on the channel in between to keep you up to date with all things Celtics. You can find Jack and I streaming pregame live for a half hour before tip-off every single time. You can also find Celtics the Roundtable. We're going to be aiming for Tuesdays, bringing out the gang. We're going to talk hoops. We're going to play games, play GeoGuessr. It's a ton of fun. Come hang out. You can find us on Spotify and Apple too. All pods and recaps are up there. So if you just want the audio versions, go ahead, follow, leave a like. We'd appreciate that very, very much. You can email us, hbtcpod@gmail.com is the address. We're reading them on the pods. Let us know what you're thinking ahead of Celtics Lakers because that's probably the next time we're going to read it. So go ahead, send it in. You can find the socials at How About Them C's, Twitter, Instagram, TikTok, Facebook's the name of the pod. All streams are there. They're on YouTube. They're on Twitter. Twitter's Jack's Mon NBA. Mine's at Sam LaFrance NBA. That's it for us. Bye.
Tic-tac.